Hi, my name is Santi Love, and I am live from for the Planet Peace Project from Southern California. I have something to say about drawing a line. People have asked me how I got to be so ethical at my great age, great advanced age. Now, I didn't get to be ethical with 50 or 60 years of trying. I became ethical at a very young age. I was actually referred to as Christ in a skirt by the time I was 4. I was referred to as the Buddha of compassion by the time I was 5. I was always very empathic, nurturing as a child. But what saved my soul, I really do think, was reading from all the world's religions when I was 7, 8, and 9, and then throughout my childhood and early adulthood. By the time I was 9, I started on secular philosophies of both the East and the West. And believe me, when you start reading from all the religions and the basic secular philosophies of the entire world, and you have all those great minds and all their words of wisdom to consider, what you end up with, if you've been paying attention, is an extremely strong and viable ethical system. I was an extremely moral child. This irritates the bleep out of a lot of people because they aren't extremely moral people. They weren't as a child, and all they've done is get better at not being ethical or moral or decent people. So I've been told by people with really dirty hands, so to speak, people who've done a lot of evil with their hands, that the thing that they envy the most about me is that I have clean hands. That there have been so many things in my life when either threatened or tempted, I wouldn't do them. Why? Because I have my self respect, integrity, and self concept to protect, and other people didn't have integrity and they don't have a self concept to protect, they have a self concept to defend because they want to think that they're better people than they really are. And a lot of people, let's face it, have a facade. If you've basically done a lot of immoral things, illegal things, unethical things, you have to create this public facade of reputation that may be built on complete fabrications and total lies. But by God, you can always tell someone of low moral character. They worry a whole lot about their reputation. The rest of us don't have to. This is the sort of thing I'm talking about. Let me show you my cat pen. I'm getting my cats back. My 5 cats were basically stolen a while back, and I'm going to find them and return them to my great arms of love. Because after all, my favorite person is my cat, or cats plural. Now, it's very hot here. Um, Here's the sort of thing I'm talking about. Someone who actually slipped drugs that he or she illegally obtained into other people's food and beverages went around apologizing to those people. Sorry about your, fill in the blank. I really shouldn't have done that. Well, in point of fact, don't do it. I know people who are always apologizing because they vacillate. I call them the great vacillators. They do something wrong, then they think better of it. They apologize. They say they were threatened. They say they were tempted. Some people have admitted being bribed to spy on others, to find and break or clone their cell phones, to, um, like I said, even try to poison people and things of that nature. I know some horrifyingly unscrupulous people, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of being someone who is of stand up moral character and being someone who hasn't been able to stand up at all physically for years because some low-life criminal scum robbed me of my ability to do so. Now, if you don't do wrong to begin with, you have nothing to apologize for. So think on that, my friend. Realize that if you draw the line in the sand and say, no, 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 there are certain things I simply will not do, and no one can make me do them, and no one can threaten me into doing them, no one can bribe me into doing them, they can't pay me enough to do that, then you don't have anything to apologize for. And most of you will understand what I'm about to say. A few of you are completely ignorant of what I'm about to say, but eventually your souls will learn that I'm telling you the truth. And you'll remember, oh, that lady was being right on that day. You're an immortal soul. And no matter what you believe or don't believe, you're an immortal soul. And you're going to get out of here someday. And that's good news for some of you and bad news for others. Because for those of us who've lived their lives and towed the line and wouldn't cross that line and have very little to apologize for, and if we do wrong and we do make mistakes, we try to apologize and atone immediately. Immortality is a good thing. But for those of you who seem to be getting away with murder and commit animal cruelty and do drugs and do drug dealing, and some people I've been battling are in human trafficking. They trade in human flesh. Some people are involved in wildlife trafficking. Some people just do horrible things to innocents. And for those people, even when they seem to be getting away with all of that, eventually they will have to face themselves and answer for what they became in this lifetime. That's not something I believe. That's not something I have faith in. That's something I know for sure. So, more on this later, but just remember, I'm making this for a specific person right now because I'm so tired of hearing these apologies come out of this same mouth every 3 or 4 days. Oh, sorry that that person did this, or sorry that person did that. Well, if that person had any real moral dignity to begin with, that person wouldn't always be crossing their own line, and that person would not be um, capable of being bribed or capable of being threatened. That person would be ethical and have some self respect and wouldn't have to always be apologizing for their behavior that was brought about by accepting bribery or other forms of temptation, not financial, or responding to threats by basically evil vermin. I'm really, really very tired of the massive corruption in this planet and this species. There are a handful of good human beings. Some of us are in child welfare advocacy. Some of us are in animal welfare. Some of us are in environmentalism and human rights, the fight for human rights. But there are too many people who've never had integrity, who've never said the words moral dignity in that order and understood what that means. And there are too many people whose hands are dirty and envy mine because they're clean. And gentle with animals, unfailingly respectful of the innocents, kind, wise, with love. And I am about out of it. I will always be gentle and respectful of innocents and cats, dogs, horses, parrots, ferrets, children, the ones that deserve perfect respect because they either don't have a context for evil or haven't had a chance to grow into evil yet. But I am so tired of dealing with people who don't have any reason for self respect whatsoever, screaming about their reputations and how other people get them in trouble by telling the truth about them, when if only they had been people who in the past had integrity and dignity and self respect and behaved in union with all of that, they wouldn't have anything to worry about. I've said it before and I will say it again. When you engage in criminality, other people don't get you in trouble. Your victims and witnesses to your crimes are not the ones who, when they go to law enforcement, got you into trouble. You got yourself there. So before you have yet another ready apology on your lips for drugging someone without their permission or knowledge, or stealing from them, or spying on their phone or files or whatever, or much worse, if there is anything worse than slipping someone a drug without their knowledge or permission, which could be fatal and which is a felony, uh, don't do it to begin with. If you don't do the crime, you don't have to spend your time apologizing for it when you get some glimmer of wisdom. I used to call myself the Planet Peace Woman, and at this late date, now that what I love most on the planet has essentially been stolen from me, and I'm embroiled in a legal imbroglio to get them back. My 5 cats were stolen by someone with no dignity and no ethics and no self respect. And now I'm actually having to get attorneys and such to get my cats back when I trusted this person. I am so outraged I could explode. So I'm starting to call myself the justifiably outraged peace woman. Yeah, onward to planet peace. More later.